You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the pod. We are almost at the end of July. Can you believe it? And tomorrow, that means that we have the end of the launch for the From Imposter to Empowered program. This launch has been so much fun, and I am so excited for the amazing women inside of this program. Guys, this is a 16-week group container for coaches to overcome the imposter syndrome and the mindset blocks that are in the way of you confidently signing clients and scaling your coaching business. The launch ends tomorrow, and we're not launching for the rest of the year, okay? So get your ass in. You can still apply right now, and you can get in before the program starts at the beginning of September, okay? So head on over to the show notes, get your application in before it is too late, okay? I love you so much. And a key element that we are working with in the From Imposter to Empowered program is your most worthy and highest self. People say next level self, highest self. I call her your worthy woman identity sometimes. Whatever you call it, it is that highest version of yourself. The elevated version of you that has what you want, is who you want to be, and embodies the thoughts, habits, behaviors, and actions that you imagine you'd embody if you were the best version of yourself, right? So highest self-work is so fucking potent and fun to play with, guys, because if you do it right, you will inevitably become that highest and best version of yourself every single time. Even me, I've rolled my eyes at highest self-work, but it actually fucking works when you do it the right way. But how do you actually begin this process, right? How do you actually start becoming that highest and best version of yourself? And we're going to talk about that today. Give you a little sneak peek before you jump into the From Imposter to Empowered program. All right, so for one, the reason why we do highest self-work, because you guys know I always need to know why. I was that annoying kid being like, why? Because I just need to know why. I think it's also an ADHD thing, a neurodivergent thing, needing to know why. So why do we do highest self-work? It's because one, it is the quickest route to creating the results that we want. And two, it means that there is a reality where you already have everything that you want, right? There is already a place, a time in space and in this world where you have the things that you want. Let's take, for example, the car. Let's say you got a car that you really want, or you were hoping to get a new car and you were thinking about it and researching it, and then there was a time where they handed over your keys and you were in your car, and now you're in this new car and you're thinking, holy shit, I have my new car. There was a time and space where you didn't have that car, but then you created it and now you're in it. Now you are in this reality where you have this new car. So if you are craving external results, like a profitable coaching business, be in the From Imposter to Empowered program, just saying, an overflow of money, a booked out client roster, you have to A, believe that attaining those things for yourself are possible, something we do in the program, and B, realize that there is a version of you that has those things. And that is the biggest and most important part about creating a completely different reality for yourself. The you that has everything you want is different than the you are right now. Different in her beliefs, her thoughts, and the actions that she takes. You are always creating your reality, and not in a shamey way, okay? But who you are right now is what created the reality you live in. So in order to create different results, it requires you to be different as well. I think back to myself in 2018 when I first started this business, and oh my God, I just want to cringe thinking about it. I had no confidence or self-worth. I carried myself very differently. I didn't trust myself with money. Like, you guys can literally scroll back on this podcast and listen to those beginning episodes, because like I was rushing. I just had no confidence in myself, right? Like, I never imagined that I could be in this place and feel this way about myself. You know what I mean? And these are all things that I had to think of and change my belief systems around in order to have everything that I have today, which is like a successful business, belief in myself, a published book. Still so crazy that I can say that, and trusting myself with large amounts of money. So yeah, I had to take the action to create all of those things, but I had to take that action from a higher version of myself that believed I was worthy and good enough, right? It's almost like an alter ego. I was actually talking to my brother-in-law Ryan, and he was talking about how with his job he's thinking about potentially taking a course at the local college to do sales. And I was like, you have to develop like an alter ego, because he's like the sweetest. He's so sweet. He's so sweet and like quiet and like introverted. I just love him so much. But I was like, you need to create like an alter ego that gets sales, gets money. And he's like, yeah, I should totally do that. So it's almost like having an alter ego, right? If you have a hard time believing that you can be your highest self right now, it's always good to think of her as just a different version of you and slide into that version of you when you need to. Like before you show up to sell, on a sales call, at a networking event, and etc. Because really, your highest self is just you with different thoughts. It doesn't have to be anything big or scary or completely different from you. It's just you with different thoughts, different beliefs. So I was in a mastermind once where the coach had us write out our dream lives. Like, I'm talking highest of the highest. And that was super fun and exciting, but I had no connection to that highest version of myself. I didn't even know where to fucking start to create her. Highest self-work for me has always been better when I have a bridge between who I am right now and who I am becoming. So that's another thing. You need to think of your highest self as just you right now who thinks differently. I think about my day-to-day life of getting up, doing my mindset routine, watching the Kardashians. Oh my God, how much do we fucking hate Tristan Thompson? What a fucking loser. Anyways, suntanning outside on my deck in the summer, grabbing Starbucks, taking client calls, like I'm doing that right now at 300,000, at $300,000 version of me, right? And you know what? I'll probably be doing it at 350, 400,000, even $500,000 version of me. My actual day-to-day won't change, but what thoughts will I be having? What moves will I be making in my business? Like when clients ask how they actually be their highest selves, it always comes down to what thoughts would you have? How would you feel? And if they don't think those things or feel those things now, how can I start? What beliefs do I need to release? What beliefs do I need to step into in order to think and feel those things right now? I teach a simple but effective belief-changing process actually in the From Imposter to Empowered program that has helped my clients and I completely change how we see ourselves and how we show up in our businesses. How you see yourself and who you believe you are is the foundation that your marketing and sales are built upon. If you think you're a bad bitch, guess what? So will your audience. A part of this belief-changing process I teach in the From Imposter to Empowered program covers secondary gain, which is a neuro-linguistic programming term to describe a purposeful attachment. With belief work, secondary gain means that you are getting something out of the current identity or belief that you are upholding. So for example, for the longest time, I would ask my dad for financial advice because I grew up telling myself I was bad at math. I was, still am bad at managing my money. And actually, my dad has said numerous times that I wasn't good with math and always wanted to know about my business numbers, asking too many questions, giving his opinions, and I would just agree. So a new identity that I was moving into in 2020 when I started making a lot of money was trusting myself with managing my own money and seeking out resources that I decided would help me with managing it, instead of just talking to my dad about it. But when assessing my new identity using the secondary gain exercise in my belief-changing process, I realized that a part of me clung to my old identity because I know it made my dad feel important, and it was a part of our relationship for me to ask him for advice. A subconscious part of me didn't want me to let this go because I was getting something from my old identity, right? So why would I try to become something different? If you're feeling stuck with your own highest self work, you need to assess for secondary gain, and this will probably bring up so much that you are unconsciously aware of that is blocking your ability to actually step into that new identity. Again, we do this deep in the From Imposter to Empowered program. Becoming your highest self is a process. It is changing the little things like thoughts you have, your habits and behaviors, and how you view yourself and your future. Something that I made a small change to in my business processes, for example, are writing scripts for these episodes. Before, I completely riffed, which is still amazing and something I do in Jill's journal, which I'm sure you've heard them. They are unhinged. They're all over the place. They're hilarious. But I had an intention to bring more awareness, education, information, and organization to the podcast. And this level of preparation allows me to help you guys even more than if I just shot off my mouth for half an hour. I'm also a rambler, and that is great for Jill's journal, but I wanted to make sure that you guys were getting the most value out of these episodes. So this version of myself takes time every month to write out scripts when before I would have just winged it. A very small personal habit I also started doing last year was to drink a big glass of water during my mindset routine in the morning. I always forget to drink water. It literally tastes so fucking boring to me, but I always get headaches, and I know how important it is to be hydrated, so I paired my morning water with my mindset routine. And I've also increased the size of my glass of water over time as well. And again, this is a very small habit, but one that I incorporated into my routine that is consistent with the highest self behavior, something that we work on too in the From Imposter to Empowered program. Again, the whole reason why we want to become our highest selves is to create the lives that we want. And in order to create the life that we want, we also need to be consciously creating the person who has those things. Because if we were already that person, you'd already have the things that you want. And again, not from a shamey, bad place. You are already worthy, you are already good enough, and because you are already worthy, you can lean into that highest self and take it a step further by truly embodying her in order to create the next level of results you're achieving. Because truly, it is an everyday, thoughtful, and conscious shift to make when you are making decisions from your highest self. I always ask my clients to do this when it comes to business. And if you are thinking of joining the From Imposter to Empowered program, I want you to tap into your highest self about this investment. When you make an investment out of scarcity and lack, it almost never works out the way that you want it to. But I want my clients to be empowered in making this decision for themselves. I want them to invest from a place of, I can do this, I deserve this, this is going to expand me into my potential. Not from a place of, I need this to save me, right? So do that now. Close your eyes, unless you're driving, and take a big, deep breath, asking yourself, if you have felt led to work with me, what would my highest self do? What would she say? Where can she see my potential and capabilities that my current self can't? And from that place, you can truly do, be, and create anything. And are you ready to become a completely different person in just 16 weeks? Are you ready to confidently sign clients and have the profitable coaching business that you've always dreamt of? Is imposter syndrome the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, comparison, not feeling like an expert, and a million other mindset blocks getting in the way of doing just that? Then you need to join the From Imposter to Empowered program. This is the only imposter syndrome program on the market for coaches, guys. And our launch ends tomorrow. It ends tomorrow. So go to the link in my show notes to apply now. We start in September. I am so excited. I love you so much and cannot wait to serve you, be your supportive bestie, and help you level up when we start the program in September. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to find out how you can take this work deeper with me in one-to-one coaching or in the From Imposter to Empowered group program. In the show notes, you'll also find a free 3-day challenge to start the process of overcoming your inner imposter. And once you're done with all of that, screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram, tagging me at your coach Jill so we can connect. See you next time.